My newest feature to PLS-GUI is this one. There's a button here. It says PLS-GUI reports, and I am posting a video that briefly describes what this does. In order to do that, I have to show you. Well, let's look at it right off. Okay, so if we pop on that, you'll get a dialog box. What this feature does, it makes available to you to selectively view and or publish to your computer, that is, save on your hard drive, these various reports that are created by all of these other functions. The way I originally set up this application is as you execute each of these functions, they produce multiple reports that populate this notebook that gets spread out along here, as we'll see in a moment. And that was fine, but there are so many reports. Once you have them all open, it's a little bit difficult, confusing, cumbersome to try and navigate back and forth. So I added this feature so you can selectively view reports and find them very quickly, and you can also not print, but save, actually publish to your hard drive, selective reports. Let me show you what I mean. So now when I open it up, there's nothing there because there aren't any reports. There are 3 drop downs. Right now I have available the reports here through the linear PLS and the reports through MGA. But MGA is separated to the 2 group reports when you just have 2 levels of your grouping variable, and then the 3 group reports where you have 3 groupings to your level variable. So I say, well, there's nothing to print, so I say OK. And so now we're going to run the linear PLS, and it makes me, as always, I have to load data. It warns me I don't have a data file loaded. So let's grab one that just has 2 groups to it, that one. And then, so I say, okay, I want to run linear PLS. Oops, I need a model. Okay, so I'll go in there and get a model that corresponds to that data set. This one does here. Okay, and so now I say, okay, I want to run linear PLS. So I do, and yes, I do want the bootstrap reports, and we'll go with 200. And I don't want to save them to disk, okay? And note, the Centroid inner rating scheme is much faster. We won't get into why, but it is. Path generally maximizes the variance in the explained variables, which is normally what you want to do. So I usually use path, even though it's a bit slower. So we say OK, and we get this progress bar. It's really pretty fast. It runs on the PLS-PM algorithm. All of these functions are mine, but they all use the PLS-PM algorithm. So here are our reports. They turn up. There are 11 of them. There's 6 basic reports that are not bootstrap reports, these. And then you have to cursor on over here, and there are the CI reports, confidence interval reports. These are the bootstrap reports that just show the confidence intervals for all of these estimated parameters. And that works pretty well, but note now, if I go up here to say PLS-GUI, now these reports are also available here. And let's choose one. So I'll say, okay, I want to look at loadings and cross-loadings. Note you can also save them individually here. When I ran this, there was a tick box that said the same thing, and I mentioned I did not want to save them. You can save all of them at once when you run the major function. If you just want to blast them all onto your disk, that's fine. Here you can save one at a time. So I say loadings and cross-loadings, okay. It opens up in this live screen. You can actually edit the report here, but I don't see why you would want to. And so here's the same report. You can selectively get at it. Now, let's do that one more time, and this time I can't remember if I saved that one. We'll save this one. We'll say direct, indirect, total effects, and I'll say yes. And so there it is. And if I go now and close it, go and look at the reports directory, I'll find, it's there amongst all these other ones. It saves it to this directory. Okay, so I just deleted all these reports, so this next example we'll be able to see it saved specifically here. So let's go back, and so let's run MGA. So this is a two-group MGA. That's what the model has. And so we'll do this. We'll say experience is our factor. We'll scale things. We'll just go 100. I want to see all the results, not just the significant ones, and I will not save them. I turned off the recording while it was doing this, save a little time. So it's making all our reports, and now if we cursor on over in the notebook, you can see they've all been added. Here are the MGA reports, and yes, I have renamed everything to make them more consistent. There are 8. With two groups, there are only 8 MGA reports. It reports the significance between the groups on 8 different variables relating to your path coefficients, your measurement model, and your structural model. But now if I go up here, PLS-GUI, you'll see they're also available here. Okay, so we'll pick one. We'll say, let's look at the difference in the total effects between the two groups, and I'll say, yes, I do want to save it. Say, OK. So there's my report. And if we go now and look in the reports directory, sure enough, it's been saved. So let's do this one more time, and we'll go, I'll quickly load up a 3-group data set, which I have right here. Okay, so we're going to do the MGA again, but it does it automatically. It identifies grouping variables that are suitable to run an MGA on, either 2-level or 3-level. And this is a 3-level one, so this file is. It'll take a second to bootstrap, and I'll pause the recording, but we just let it go with everything. Say OK. So it's finishing up the bootstrap. It takes a minute to actually produce the reports, and so it's done. And you didn't see anything, but what actually happened is that they all got populated at the end here. It ran the 2 groups again, but it also ran all the 3 groups. For example, for the path loadings, let's look at that. You have the difference in I don't want that. This is not the path. I want the paths here. Okay, so here are the paths. The direct effects, which is usually the basis of your MGA. You want to know if the path coefficients are different on the paths in your model between the 2 groups. And that's what this tells you. It tells you if they're different at a 10% level, which is less stringent than if they're significant at a 5% level. But you also get, this is groups 1 and 2. Here are the differences between groups 1 and 3. Here are the differences between groups 2 and 3. So 8 parameters. Now you get 3 reports for each parameter. So you get 24 reports, and it just populates this notebook and goes way out. Well, that's kind of hard to find what you're looking for. So come up here to PLS-GUI, reports, and now you see these are refreshed. It gives you both the 2 group and the 3 group. When you run a 3 group, you get all the refreshed 2 group reports end up here. So these are always the most current reports. Whenever you run one of these functions again, it blows away all the old ones and puts in the new ones. So here's the difference: 1 3 2 3, 1 3 2 3, 1 3 2 3. So you can find things a little more easier. Okay, so if I wanted to just look at the total effects between groups 2 and 3, and I wanted to save it, just that one report on disk, I say OK, and it pops it open, and I can look at it, do what I want. And then if we go to the reports directory, sure enough, here's the total effects 2, 3.